Welcome back, everybody. This is ISA Insider News. My name is Max Tim.
And I'm Shayna Weber.
Hello, Shayna.
Hello.
Welcome. What's been going on? What's happened over the past week with you in your life?
I feel better. I
Right.
feel like the COVID and the jet lag have gone away. I feel more myself. And my kid went back to summer camp. So it's like a party around here.
That's right. What kind of summer camp? Is it like a sleep? It's not a sleepover summer camp. No,
he's 5. Yeah, it's just the summer camp at his school. So it's like kindergarten ready camp, and they just play games and do a little bit of learning and reading and stuff, but mostly it's just getting him out of my face all day.
God, I feel like adults need that. Adults need a summer camp.
Yeah.
God, that's a pretty funny movie, actually.
Like slip and slides and
Bring
stuff.
back summer camp. I feel like that's had to have been done before. I am wearing my shirt. They would have said, there goes Roy Hobbs, the best there ever was in this game. I had just had a little feel like it's really hot and muggy. We're getting close to, we're like in the heat of the summer here, and the world right now is just lit up with heat. But it always reminds me of baseball. Whenever it's just really hot and muggy, there's like the wind doesn't do you any good. You just gotta swimming through. I suppose, did you have humidity in Oregon growing up? Is it really bad up there?
No, it was pretty dry where we were at. So it was like in the winter, it was really sunny and freezing cold. And then in the summer, it was just hot, but not like balmy hot. So
it's freezing cold. I suppose
weather,
your elevation's kind of up there, isn't it, in Bend?
Yeah, it's like that. It's called the high desert where I grew up.
Okay, right. Yeah. So anyway, I just had a little ode to the natural. I love that line. This is actually, if you didn't know, something that Ted Williams almost verbatim said. Ted Williams is a famous baseball player. And he said he wanted everybody, when he was done with his career, to say, there goes Ted Williams, the best who ever was in this game. And so they ripped that off right out of him.
When I first read your shirt, do you want to know what I thought it was from? Fast and the Furious.
Roy Hobbs sound like a fast.
I was like, Hobbs? Why is he wearing a Hobbs?
No. Let's get into
it's also my birthday week, so birthday to me.
All right, and you're going to be 24, 5.
Exactly.
Yes, got it.
25. Yep. That
we are opposites, right? You're a Cancer.
I'm Cancer, Leo, cusp.
Cancer, Leo. I'm Capricorn, Aquarius. Yeah. I don't know it.
That is pretty opposite, though.
Oh, it's opposite. Yeah. I guess that's good for a news show. We can have different takes. But let's get into top headline. What is our top headline of the week? We
found this article that both of us were like, this is really, really interesting. And it's the idea of spectacle. So this is an article in the Hollywood Reporter. It's about the new movie coming out, the new Jordan Peele, much anticipated film, Nope. This movie's a big summer blockbuster, sure. But as we all know, for Jordan Peele projects, there's also a great elevated underlying theme that, we all are looking for now in every kind of horror movie. But what do you think about this article?
What I love about Jordan Peele is that he just doesn't want to give anybody anything. Meaning like story info, backstory, or any kind of, twist, secrets. And he's really great at that. Even the actors we're talking about in this article that you should read. It's a really quick article. I have some commentary from some of the actors, but the actors were looking at the script like, okay, this is my surface read. I know I'm going to have to read this again because what is Jordan actually trying to say? And then they had to go talk to him and say, okay, what's this actually about? And of course, this, that's what Jordan Peele is famous for. But what I like, and it's only touched upon a little bit, and I think that's ultimately the topic that we want to cover, is this idea of exploring how people consume spectacle. But it's more than just on a story side. We're going to be referencing a little bit more, about the idea of a blockbuster and things. But I have a feeling the movie itself is going to be kind of more about exploiting people for our own spectacle purposes. I don't know. It's my guess. But it's interesting that like anytime you drive by an accident on the side of the road, we have to slow down and look at it. Why? I don't know why.
That's a good point. You're like rubbernecking it, like, what's going on over there?
I don't think I've ever not looked, even if I was just going regular speed, like, okay. But in my head, I try to have some amount of empathy, like, oh boy, I hope that the person there is okay. But I personally think, in my personal opinion, everybody watching, listening, you can comment, but I think it's because we don't want to actually be in the situation. The movie like Independence Day or Jurassic Park, or in The Walking Dead or something. We don't actually want to be in those situations. So we're happy to exploit the people in the stories for our own entertainment purposes. And I have a feeling that's what Nope is about. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what it's about, because with a title like that, it's like, I mean, there's so much room for somebody going, well, it's about this. And then you're like, nope.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. Nope.
But
Nope.
yeah, I mean, I think that the great thing that Jordan Peele specifically has done, especially in the horror genre and also the horror comedy genre, for the past however many years, going back to the 80s and the 70s with horror movies, I was thinking about this, like you used to walk away going, kind of what you just said, like, oh my God, thank God that's not real, right? Thank God someone's not coming through my dreams.
Yeah,
Slashing people or murdering
whatever.
people.
Yeah.
Right. Or ghosts or exorcism or whatever isn't really real in my world. Thank God, and then you can walk away from it. But currently what these films do, like Get Out specifically, and now more moving into that thematic, high concept, elevated idea in horror, is that you walk away going, what if that was real?
Yeah.
What if this was the case, and how would it change human nature, and how would it change people? And so that's really exciting. And I think it's open, and it has opened up, but I think it's continuing to open up that genre.
I think we're seeing it
smarter
in the real world. Like, this is what social media has allowed people to do, is to live on kind of small levels of spectacle by exploiting other people for whatever reason. Sometimes it's exploitative for just fun. Like, oh, this is funny. Like, there's this video that I've been sharing around that was on, I don't know, Instagram or something. It's a teeny little 7-second video of this guy opening a PlayStation 4 for Christmas. And he's so overly excited. And he's probably a solid 34. Like, this is not a young kid. And he is overly obnoxiously excited. And he's like spinning the box around, and he's sitting on like, on his, on the floor. And this cat just suddenly comes and grabs him around the neck and bites him. And the guy is like obviously in pain. And that's the very end of the video. And I couldn't stop watching it. And so in a way, I'm exploiting this guy's pain for my own humor. And I feel like that's what the world has happened. That's what we've come to, this whole Donald Trump thing, not to get too political, ladies and gentlemen, but I apologize. He was a spectacle. And I have a feeling 30+ % of the people that voted for him were like, we got to see what's going to happen. Honestly.
Yeah.
And
what's he going to do?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a great article. A couple great quotes from Jordan Peele. There are a lot of other things that he talks about that we aren't really even going to cover, but it's a cool little article. You should check it out.
Yeah, it's awesome. And on a side note from that, there came out news, a little bit ago about, I just wanted to bring this up because I was really excited for him. Finn Wolfhard, who is part of Stranger Things. He plays Mike in Stranger Things. He is co-directing his first horror comedy feature, and it's called Hell of a Summer. And they are keeping the plot under wraps, but it just made me really happy. And the reason it made me happy is because I love that newbies get to make their films. He wrote it, he co-wrote it, he's co-directing it. I just love that. I think that that's how it should be. And you should be able to go make the film that you wrote if you so choose to. He's young. And I just think it's cool. And I wish that for everybody. If like you want to go make your movie, he has a lot of more opportunity than all of us and a lot of more connections and all of that. But still, I just think it's really encouraging for everybody, especially in the horror genre. It seems to be the most willing to allow that.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
But I just thought that was super exciting.
I think it's really exciting. And you have experience with this, making your own horror comedy short. And I think the opportunity is there because the genre tends to sell itself a little bit more than, like you were saying earlier, Shana, that it's difficult to have a first-time director direct a really, I don't know,
heavy,
epic,
dramatic,
drama, right? Because there's much more writing on the directing of that movie and the name of the director than there is necessarily the horror comedy, because people will tune in for the genre. So it goes the same way. If you're a writer, people will probably read that a little bit faster than the English patient.
Right.
No?
So yeah, let's go make our horror comedies, people.
Right.
I got
Right.
one. If anyone has any money, let me know.
Yeah. Before we do that, though, we have to talk about this week in ISA Insider News.
So right before I go make my movie,
right,
we got to continue with our show. What?
Because we do need to understand our personal narrative. Now, I know this is is a little bit of a weird segue, but there's an article by the wonderful and amazingly talented, incredibly smart and educated, and all the positive words I can think of, Lee Jessup. She's a career coach for screenwriters. She's awesome. If you haven't heard of her, go to leejessup.com. But she wrote a blog post talking about 3 reasons the screenwriter's personal story is so important. Why do you think the personal story for a screenwriter is so important?
I mean, we were just talking about social media. We were just talking about spectacle. And I think this day and age is like, you can't be a writer who hides behind your keyboard or your pen and paper. You also have to showcase your personality, because as much as your writing has to stand out and be great, you also have to present yourself in a room, and you have to be somebody that somebody wants to work with for years, a year at least per project. It doesn't mean that you have to be fake or, create some big, amazing persona for yourself. It's just, you need to find the things about yourself that are interesting. I mean, it's just like starting a new school or whatever. You got to figure out those things about yourself that you can connect with other people, that you can be relatable with other people. And it also just goes back into like your voice as a writer. Mm-hmm. What you're putting into your words, you need to show that and exude that out into the world.
And that's one thing she talks about, is forming relationships is one of the key elements of the industry. That's how these projects get made, forming relationships. And you want to be someone people want to work with, like you just said. I do want to quote something from the article, though, because, and this is in Lee's voice. She said, "On my very first day with the talented writers selected for 2018-19's Universal Writers Program," she's a mentor and instructor there. She says, "We shook hands, exchanged our hellos, sat down around the conference room table, and immediately dove into the deep end. Each writer was asked to share with me his or her personal narrative." It's a specific thing. This isn't just a general, here's who I am. It's a story that you have to practice, it's a story pitch of yourself. And she goes into a lot of different pieces of advice. Obviously, we don't have time to go in and explain, here's the structure of a personal narrative, but it's just about being personable. I don't know. I mean, call me crazy, but we've got to learn how to tap into that. A lot of writers are introverted, and I get that, but in a way you can't be all the time, You
got to figure out how to be extroverted in those moments. And then when you're done with that, you can go home and hide under the covers.
Right.
We do. But there are certain times where you just honestly have to get over it, and you gotta go do that work.
Yeah.
Just like you have to find something deep in your writing to make it pop, you got to do that with yourself too. So it's hard. No one said it's easy, but you got to do it.
Really hard. All of this is practice. You have to be prepared. I mean, regardless of what level within the development process you are with your script, but also post-development process, once the script's done, this isn't a bar of soap you put on a shelf and hope that somebody walking by with a cart buys your soap. You have to sell this thing. But definitely read the article.
Max's soap story is not going to work in this.
What's your commercial for soap? You got to sell me on your soap. There's a lot to choose from. Oh God, maybe it is.
There's a writing prompt for you. Sell us your soap. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tell us why I should be using your soap. I might need some because it's really hot where I am right now in Wisconsin. LeeJessup.com. Lee is amazing. And you should read that article because there's a whole bunch of really juicy pieces of advice in there.
Yeah. And she's got other great blogs on her website. Yeah. The great thing about Lee is she just tells it how it is. And she's not trying to sell you something. She's just being honest and real. And it's just really, really helpful and informative. So go to her site, check it out.
I need it. Okay, what are we watching? You watched something that might have been a little bit more for your Max than you.
So we went to the theaters and we saw Minions: Rise of Gru. Let me preface this with, I love the first Minions movie. The origin story of the Minions is really epically great.
I
It's
didn't know that.
hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
I love it. It's hilarious. It's great. This one, not so much. I would say it felt like, to me, and feel free to put in the comments your thoughts, but it felt to me like it was phoned in. Like it just didn't have that magic.
Okay.
It didn't have the excitement. It felt very predictable and just kind of blah. And I got bored. And I think my child got bored too.
Wow.
He said he liked it, but it just wasn't as engaging and fun as, as the other Minions. It was just kind of blah. But then I finally watched, and I'm way behind, I know. I finally watched House of Gucci. And I had originally not wanted to watch it because I was reading reviews and people talking about it. And I was like, oh, it's long. And I don't know, people were just saying, negative things, but I watched it and I loved it. I thought it was really, I thought it was great. I thought the acting by everybody was fantastic. I think that Jared Leto playing this one character that he plays is phenomenal. I mean, I enjoyed it the entire time. It was 3 hours long or something, but I didn't get bored. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. So
I need to watch more movies. It's so easy to watch a TV show. And I think this is a little bit of advice for all of us who are trying to write in the feature space. You got to be watching movies. I mean, for most of you hearing that, you're kind of like, duh, but I got to watch more movies, and I have not seen that. I didn't watch anything new this week. Nothing new. I don't know why. I guess I just kind of wanted to keep going with my shows. The Old Man, Only Murders in the Building. Not quite halfway through the final season of Friends. Finally, I started rewatching it. I think it was like before Christmas, and so it's taken me that long to get through it. I maybe watch a couple episodes every night, and I think I'm going to do this for as many sitcoms as I can. I never watched all of The Office, and I think I watched maybe the first couple of seasons. So I'm going to rewatch it. I tell you, you can learn so much from watching a sitcom, because they have to squeeze so much in there, and they don't have any time that's wasted. Every moment on screen it matters. And we kind of have to take that approach with an hour long or a feature. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're sitting down and spending time watching your project. So there's no wasted time. Anyway, that's it. I didn't watch anything new.
Okay, what are you all watching? Let us know what we should be watching, what you're loving, your opinions on House of Gucci, on Minions. Tell us what you think. Tell us what we should watch. Because sometimes I just click through and I'm like, what is that even a thing anymore? Do we click through? No, I guess we just search through. We're like, not really clicking through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I guess that's an antiquated way of saying it. But yeah, tell us what you're watching, what you're interested in, what's on your mind.
Yeah. Twitter question time. And we have a very special question from a very special lady on Twitter.
Very popular indeed.
This is from...
I actually put this question. I put this question on Twitter because I was remembering something that was told to me a long time ago. So here's the Twitter question, and feel free to let us know your answer. What's a trait that you were once told about yourself as a flaw, but you use as a superpower or wear as a badge of honor? So for me, I have this great power of being aloof that I love about myself, and I use it accordingly, however I need to in the moment. But I was told in my younger years of production that it didn't seem like I cared, and I was a little bit too aloof about things. And that's mostly because I would sit back a lot and listen. I'm very much like a watcher and a listener, and it comes off maybe as being a little bit bitchy. But I love that. And if you can't get past that about me, then that's great. But also I use my aloofness because I don't have to reply to an email right away. I don't have to reply to a text right away. I'm busy. Like, I got stuff going on, and I'm responsible, but I use it to my advantage. So what's your superpowered slash flaw?
It's such a great question. I don't know if it's a superpower, but I will comment on the idea of someone being aloof. I think what it ultimately does is it shows how self-conscious everybody else is around anybody. Because if somebody is aloof, they think, what are they hiding? Are they thinking about me? Yeah. It's all suddenly about them. And so it shows, but that's what's so great about this question, because it focuses on flaw. For one, we as writers need to be thinking about our own personal flaws, whether you've overcome them or not, or if you just currently use them. But then obviously in the development of our characters, we have to be thinking about, okay, what's the character flaw? But what's fun about the question is that how you're looking at it, meaning it's evolved. Like there may have been a time where you thought being aloof, even if it was 5 minutes, was a problem. Like, oh, I shouldn't be that way because people are saying they don't like that. But that probably caused some level of discomfort or something for you, and it didn't work or whatever. But you were forced to face up to it, and you didn't necessarily change it, you evolved it. And I think that's the point of flaw in story. A character will start out one way and be different in the end, but it doesn't mean they have to be 180 degrees different. It's not always Finding Nemo, where Marlin is, terrified of everything and controlling in the beginning, and then he's completely letting go and whatever at the end. More often than not, it's not that at all. It's just an evolution. For me, I kind of focused a little bit on your word "now" in the question. I read it as, what's a trait you were once told is a flaw that you now use as your superpower? So again, I don't think it's a superpower necessarily, but I think mine was a lack of confidence as a kid. But I kind of tend to play with that lack now, and not only, be humble about it, but use it as a way to kind of poke fun at myself. And it makes me feel a little like I have strength based on knowing that, sure, I don't have as much confidence as maybe I could or whatever. But so in a way, I think part of my voice expanded once I realized that everybody else deals with self-confidence issues, and then allowing myself to be humble and vulnerable and put that flaw on display, and kind of, you see through it. And because I was bullied a little bit as a kid, thankfully not as bad as some. And it was because I took everything so seriously, but I was trying to kind of make up for probably some level of lack of confidence. But then the fact that I took things seriously made me gullible. And then of course, bullies were like, hey, and now it's just different. And I was going to say, I don't care. I'm aloof now.
Nice.
No, it's not that. It's more of trying to turn it around and be like, yeah, well, you're probably self-confident, self-conscious too. Great.
Well, yeah, I think you use it as a way to connect with other people too. I think that you're just real. And I think everybody has, at some level, at different times, in different ways, self-esteem issues. And we're not always walking around like, oh my God, I'm the greatest gift to the world. And I think you use that as a way to relate to people. A lot of people feel like they can talk to you about a lot of different things because you're not putting out airs about yourself.
Yeah,
you just,
relatability.
Here's who I am. And some days are better than others, and it's me,
Right. Yeah. This is definitely one that I want to hear comments and see comments on this, because I want to know what you think your flaws are. There is no wrong answer. Nobody's going to be poking fun at anybody. This is, kind of open, free forum here. But we've got to be looking at that. What's our own personal flaw? Because that then probably speaks to our voice in terms of being a writer, and then connecting to the characters that we create, because we're all trying to figure this crap out, and usually story is how we do that.
Let's talk really quick about your event coming up on July 27th.
ISA event. So this is my monthly webinar. It is on July 27th. It's called 9 Things That Every Writer Needs. And I'm going to be talking about 9 things every writer needs. There are a lot more than just 9 things, but I'm going to get into really the core that I've learned over the past 17 plus years of working with writers and, in the screenwriting education world, but also from an educational creative development standpoint. And it may not be the full hour, so I'm going to probably have plenty of time to be answering questions. And I always hesitate using the word need, because everything and everyone is relative, but technically speaking, I think you need these things. So that is on July 27th. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah,
go to the ISA events page and make sure you register.
I'm excited about this good news of the week. Let's get to that good news of the week. We all need it. Interesting month to say the least, but it's funny because Shana, you had heard of this without actually reading the article.
Yes. So this is an amazing, hilarious story. So
it's just so great. And I'm going to read directly from the website. It's really short. but there's so many fun visuals, and there's like there's a movie and even at least a short film. So Lost Pup ends up competing in dog show, wins third place. So Bonnie the Beagle mix went on quite the adventure Sunday, which culminated in the Lost Canine winning third place in a dog show. Bonnie was a stray in Crete before being adopted 4 years ago by the Closier family in Bolney, West Sussex, England. After she escaped from her house on Sunday, she was found on the side of the road by John Wilmer. I love that they're using like very specific names of these people. He was driving his own 2 pups to a dog show in Felbridge when he came across Bonnie. And after posting her picture on Facebook, he decided to take her along to the contest. She was such a lovely dog, he said. I thought it'd be good to enter her. Wilmer told the BBC News. She was a hit with the judges, ended up winning third place in the rescue dog class. I was so pleased she did so well, Wilmer said. While Bonnie was winning ribbons, meanwhile, her family was frantically looking for her. And once she was brought back home, they were stunned by how she had spent her afternoon on the run. We're so thrilled she's safe and well, and also a winner, says the owner. You couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, obviously good news that the dog was perfectly fine, but the little twist, the fact that you can just picture this dog just going on this little journey and adventure and then coming home like, hey guys, look what I did today.
But also you said a part about won the rescue dog category, and I kind of felt bad for the other rescue dogs because it's not really a rescue dog. So
that's
poor
funny.
Other rescue dogs who didn't, that fourth place dog should have gotten third place.
That totally went over my head. That is a really good point. Those other dogs are like, who is this non-rescue coming in? That's
he has a family.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to Bonnie at the very least. Share your good news of the week. I want to hear what's going on. Let's see what your success stories are. Posted on Twitter at Network ISA if you want. Post them on the ISA website, but of course you can comment here on YouTube if you like.
Yeah, we love to hear it.